This video is for anyone who's a felon or has legally lost their ability to own a firearm. The information in this video could literally be the difference of you becoming a victim or legally being able to defend yourself and not go to prison for 5 years for it. Before I explain why it's legal for a felon to own an electromagnetic railgun, you first should probably know what one is, so here's a 30-second video doing just that.
Hey guys, this is the Railgun. Now to be honest, I don't know shit about it. I know it has different modes. One is shotgun and the other one is auto. And it has different power ranges. One's max, one's mid, and one's very slow. It takes these metal discs, and you can tell how big the metal disc compared is to a 9mm. And then you have the magazine that holds 25 rounds on each side. Let's go shoot it and try it out. Shotgun mode. See that target. Ridiculous, I think that would hurt. It shoots nice. It is rechargeable if you guys didn't know, and it has a cool display that reads all your modes and your power modes as well. So, and if you do mess up a disc, you get this disc with this grinder and you grind it and you test it through the hole so you know, make sure it's going to go through the gun correctly. You guys be safe. Take care.
Legally, is a railgun considered a firearm?
Meaning anything that shoots projectile with anything other than an explosive is not a firearm. There are airguns that can kill and is not considered a firearm and does not require license to engage in the business of manufacturing. A railgun is powered by electricity and therefore doesn't qualify as a firearm.
If you own a firearm despite being a felon, there's the risk of being caught without it and not being able to protect yourself and your family, always the risk of being caught with it and doing a mandatory prison sentence. At one time or another, I was sympathetic to your position, but not when you can own a railgun, still be able to protect yourself and your family and not end up behind bars for it. The reason why a felon can own an electromagnetic railgun is due to what the state and federal government consider the definition of a firearm to be. Before we take a look at the legal definition of a firearm, here we are at ATF, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, and they label a firearm as any weapon which will or is designed to or may readily be converted to expel a projectile by the action of an explosive. As you can see, there is a depiction of a gun being fired, and you can see the explosion that is propelling the bullet from the gun's barrel. With the application of firing a railgun, there is no explosion involved whatsoever. Then it goes on to show you what constitutes a frame or receiver or a destructive device. Alright, let's take a look at the definition of a firearm. At first glance, the definition of firearm may be discouraging because it says any weapon. But the key words you need to understand are explosive, destructive device, and incendiary. So before you can understand the definition of firearm, you need to understand the definition of those key words. Minnesota's definition of an explosive device is
a device articulated that ignition by fire, friction, concussion, chemical reaction, or detonation of any part of the device may cause sudden such generation of highly heated gases that the result of gases pressure are capable of producing destructive effects. Explosive devices include, but are not limited to, bombs, grenades, rockets, having a propellant charge of more than 4 ounces, mines, fireworks modified for any other use other than their intended purpose. The term includes device that produce chemical reaction, that produce gas capable of bursting its container and producing destructive effects. The term does not include firearm ammunition.
Although an electromagnetic railgun has everything to do with friction, what you need to understand is these key words or sentences. Ignition by friction. There is no ignition by friction. There's no chemical reaction. There's no explosive associated with an electromagnetic railgun. Therefore, an electromagnetic railgun does not fall under the category of what the state considers to be an explosive device or an incendiary device and cannot be categorized as such. Now that we understand that a destructive device is an explosive device or an incendiary device, we can re-examine the definition of what the state and federal government consider to be the definition of a firearm, and we can see that an electromagnetic railgun does not fall under the classification of a firearm. The reason I made this video was not to make it easier for criminals to get their hands on weapons so they can victimize people. If someone wants to commit a crime, they get their hands on whatever tools they need to do said crime regardless. I made this video for people who caught a felony, who aren't necessarily bad people but made a mistake, but have lost their ability to protect themselves and their loved ones. Which is part of the reason why I'm against gun control. Hypothetically, let's say I killed someone with my fist. Is there then a need for fist control, and should the government go door to door and under the threat of them using their fists against you, confiscate your fists? Of course not, that's ludicrous. Inanimate objects don't kill people. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Our Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. That's the way our founding fathers envisioned it, and that's the way it should be. Is it legal for a felon to own an electromagnetic railgun?
Laws vary from state to state, and in some states, felons cannot own these types of weapons. According to Nebraska state statutes, yes they can. The statute covers prohibited persons, which include more than people who have been convicted of a felony.